Believe it or not, I used to hate reading books. 10 years ago, when I was 16, I read my first nonfiction book, and it completely changed my view. 10 years later, and I read more than 100. Here are 7 that most impacted my life. The first book was recommended to me through most of the internet, claiming that this book is fundamental to everyone. I read it and yeah, they were right. It taught timeless principles for improving interpersonal relationship, influencing others effectively, and developing positive cooperation. No matter if you think you are good or bad at social interactions, this is a book that I truly believe everyone should read. These are actually notes I took when I was 16. By criticizing, we do not make lasting changes, and often incur resentment. The deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important. It definitely changed the way I spoke, the way I thought from there on. I read it once at 16, I read it twice a few years ago, and frankly, I will read it another time very soon. In the meanwhile, I learned German and studied physics in Germany. In university, I started the hang of reading books. I realized that fiction books wasn't particularly my thing, and that the opposite is true. While I was living alone or with my partner, I had total freedom on what to spend my time and how I would organize my place to shape my habits. That's where the next book changed the perspective of so many. You probably heard of it because it's that good. It completely changed how I view routines and habits. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. If you're learning, being in school, university, or even just for fun, not only studying but learning any kind of activity, you might want to know that there is a bad way to learn, which I can immediately tell you it's just by copying your notes to your notebook, and there's a much better way. I know because I studied both ways and I wasted a lot of time. This book completely changed the way I learned things during university and now as well. I immediately saw the difference in grades when applying the methods shown here. Alternatively, I have a course going through all the common mistakes people made, including me in the past, and how to solve them. The knowledge doesn't solely come from this book, but from multiple ones that are not mentioned in this video. Big decisions were made in the past few years. I've moved countries again, and that came with a lot of uncertainty. There were 3 fundamental books that made me rethink about my path, about the choices I made, and where I was heading and doing with my life. This was written by care nurse spending times with many people in their final weeks of their life. Through their reflections, she explains common regrets that offer profound lessons. This was read at the time when I was doubting if I should really continue and pursue a PhD, which by the way I didn't. Now that she was dying, she didn't care what people thought of her, and anguished over why she hadn't worked this out sooner, Grace kept up appearances and lived the way others expected her to, only now realizing the choice to do so had always been her own and was based on fear. Breaking the standard definition of success, I took a deep breath and embraced what the author called the pathless path. This is a book that questions societal expectations. It embraces uncertainty and what to do instead of chasing external validation. The goal is not to find a job, make money, build a business, or achieve any other metric. It's to actively and consciously search for the work that you want to keep doing. From the place of real uncertainty when I moved countries, this book was everything to me. And later on, wanting to learn more about money, the single book that most impacted how I view money was this one. It introduces 3 financial roads people take, and it elaborates on key values for wealth. Your choices are the catalyst for wealth or poverty. It has been a few months since I finished my degree, and during this time I learned so much about life. Mental health is a crucial aspect, and the following book was written by a psychologist about the struggles of people who grew up with parents from a different culture. Growing up in Portugal with Chinese parents, this book pinpoints with immense precision deep feelings that I couldn't even uncover myself. Strength is not about enduring pain in silence. It's about having the courage to ask for help and to show our scars. Reading books went from something I hated to something I love. And these ones really changed my life. And I sincerely hope they change yours. Thank you for watching.